Huge night for the Bruins coming up Friday night. First round of the NHL Draft. They've got pick number 7. They ain't moving that pick. Nobody wants that pick. They ain't moving from it, but they could have a humongous gift dropped right into their lap. Let's talk about who they can take at number 7. Bob McKenzie has put out his final draft rankings here, and Bob McKenzie is the master at this, okay? He's the one that sends out the surveys to all the NHL front offices. Not that they're necessarily giving away state secrets, but he knows better than anybody what these teams are looking for and what players they're looking at. Usually his top 10 or 15 is pretty accurate to what the NHL draft looks like. This is a fascinating draft because it's really 2 players. It's Matthew Schaefer, Michael Misa, and then after that, it's a whole lot of confusion. Guys with injury history, guys slipping, guys rising. It is really, truly crazy after those first 2 picks. I'm going to go over 3 guys that could very well be in the Bruins' lap at number 7. Okay, I'm not going to go over Caleb Desnoyers, who I have done on the show before. Check out that video on the channel talking about how clutch a player he is, because I don't think he's going to be available to them at number 7. I think he's already going to be off the board. The other one I'm not going to go over is Roger McQueen, because I think that would be a catastrophe and possibly cancer-inducing for Bruins fans if Boston actually selects him. He's coming off a major back injury that he tried to play through. The health prognosis is not great. He's a guy who's a top 5 projected player in this draft. He should slip to the middle of the first round. The Bruins should not go after him. So who should they go after? Okay, because available to them at number 7 could well be Jake O'Brien of the Brantford Bulldogs. Now, Bob McKenzie has him going at number 6, so he would be off the table at that point. But all 3 of these guys we're going to look at are all centers because that's the position the Bruins need the most. And it's also the position that gets, picked first, usually in the draft. Obviously, this is going to be a defenseman going number 1 overall in Matthew Schaefer, but most of the rest of the top 10 is going to be centers. Jake O'Brien would be a pretty good pick, man. I mean, good skater, one of the best playmakers, if not the best playmaker in the draft, 66 assists in 66 games last year for Brantford in the OHL. The kid is a stud. He's got the great hockey IQ, all those things that you're looking for in terms of decision-making, creativity, passing. It's a more skilled league than it's ever been, and Jake O'Brien fits that. He truly does. And he's someone who's been between that 5 and 10 range. Again, Bob McKenzie has him at number 6, but 66 assists and for 98 points in 66 games is the kind of creativity that everybody in the league could use, especially the Bruins searching for that 1C, maybe even a 2C. Jake O'Brien is someone who can absolutely bring that. I think he's not as sexy of a pick as some of the other ones look, but certainly if you're talking about a 200-foot game, Jake O'Brien can bring that. He brings a good defensive acumen as well. That kind of goes with the hockey IQ. He's somewhere kind of in the middle in terms of size. He can absolutely fit into an NHL roster in the next year or two. It'd be a top 6 center for a team that really desperately needs one. So if Jake O'Brien is the pick, I'm quite okay with that, with Jake O'Brien being the pick at number 7 to the Boston Bruins. We'll see if he's available. Because again, Bob McKenzie has him at number 6, which means he's going to Philadelphia. Okay, Caleb Desnoyers, a guy I really love, going to Nashville at number 5. So I hate to see both those guys off the board when it comes to the Bruins. But if that is the case, and both those guys are off the board, there's a good chance you've still got one of the very best players in the draft available at number 7. Okay? Because if Caleb Desnoyers and Jake O'Brien are off the board at number 6, that means the Bruins could have one of the best players in the draft falling right into their lap at number 7. That player is, of course, James Hagens of Boston College. If the Bruins have the opportunity to pick this kid, you just thank your lucky stars, thank everyone in the room, and sprint to the podium to draft him. I still don't really know why Hagens is slipping so far in this draft. Okay. McKenzie has him at number 7, which would mean, of course, going right to the Bruins. But there are some mock drafts that have him down in the below 10, in the teens even. That absolutely should not be the place where he's going. The kid was the number 1 prospect in the draft going into this season, and he was a point-a-game player in Hockey East in the NCAA. I don't really understand why he's dropping so much. I do understand that he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's 5'11". He's slight. He's not quite 180. Right? I get it. He's slight. And there are some concerns about him maybe taking some games off where he looks invisible. But again, 37 points in 37 games for an 18-year-old who busted out at the World Juniors as well with 9 goals in 7 games. That still sounds like a top prospect to me. And I like the Jake OBrien kid from Brantford. I'm picking James Hagens over him, and I think it's a coin flip whether I'm taking James Hagens over Caleb Desnoyers, who's projected to go 2 spots ahead of him. It would be an absolute gift, Christmas in late June, if James Hagens drops to the Boston Bruins at number 7. He still has the potential to be the franchise center that everybody thought he was going to be going into this season. And yeah, maybe he has to play on the wing. Okay. He's still got one of the best hockey IQs in the draft. He's one of the best skaters in the draft. He's got a deceptively good snapshot. I think he brings all the things that you want for a center for the Bruins. The game is getting more and more skilled by the year, and the Bruins can't keep up. James Hagens has you keeping up, okay? The kid's skill is off the charts. And I always say, honestly, with any draft, not just hockey, but beware those kids who were big-time prospects, like supposed to be the number 1 pick before the season, that inexplicably drop. He doesn't have a major injury. He's not 21. He's about to turn 19. Okay, he's going to have another year in the NCAA. He's going to be one of the best players in college hockey next year. Like, he's going to be a Hobey Baker finalist. I truly believe that. I think his game is going to grow even more. And if the Bruins pick him at 7, there are going to be 6 other fan bases watching college hockey next year saying, what the hell? Why didn't we get this guy? Right? When Caleb Desnoyers and Jake OBrien have some growing pains, which all of these prospects will have, there will be fans in Nashville and Philadelphia thinking, shit, man, look at this kid at BC. Look at him playing in the Frozen Four, scoring big goals, dominating the World Juniors again. We let the Bruins get this guy? They fucked their own plan up. They're supposed to be picking 4th. They forced the last game of the season into overtime and have to drop to 7. They got screwed. How do they get James Hagens? That's what I hope these other fan bases are bitching about next season. Don't overthink it with this kid. James Hagens is the pick if he's available at number 7. No ifs, ands, or buts. And not only do you get a really great prospect out of this, but you also get a hype train out of this. Bruins fans will watch BC hockey next year. Hockey East on Nesson, Beanpot, Hockey East Championships, NCAA Tournament, ESPN, World Junior Championships. They'll watch all of that. They'll be watching James Hagens every weekend. And they'll have this idea that a savior is coming. And maybe he's not a full savior of the team, but you need a top 2 center. This kid brings that, and you'll actually get some real hope from your fan base again, watching this kid play at BC all season. I'll say it again. Do not overthink this. If James Hagens is there at 7, that is one of the best gifts you've gotten in the draft in a long time. Take him, take him, take him. The guy that I am petrified the Bruins will take at number 7 is another center. The guy I am scared to death the Bruins will take at 7 if he's available is Brady Martin of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. I think this would be a massive mistake. But in the short term, Bruins fans would absolutely love it. So he plays for the Sioux Greyhounds. Brady Martin. Brady Martin is one of the fastest risers of the draft scene this year. He's a guy who was projected to be a middle to late first round pick who's now all of a sudden getting some real top 10 buzz. And the reason why is because he's the best physical player in this draft. He is a rock'em sock'em robots kind of forward. Okay. He is probably the best hitter in the 2025 draft. And since everything got so muddy outside of the top 2 picks, all of a sudden Brady Martin, kind of flying off the tape because of how physical he is, teams are now pretty interested in this kid. The Bruins took him out to dinner at the NHL scouting combine. They took him out to dinner. They wined and dined him at the combine. They might love this kid. Bob McKenzie has him going number 8, by the way, the pick right behind the Bruins because he has James Hagens going to the Bruins. This would be a mistake if they draft Brady Martin, I think. I think everybody is just going goo goo gaga over this kid. All the scouts are drooling over this kid because he can check you out of the gym. They are absolutely drooling over him because he's a very physical player. And they project him to be a power forward, which is what everybody wants in this league. There's just one issue. He doesn't have the skill to be a power forward. When you're talking about NHL prospects and guys who are going to stick around in the NHL and make money in the NHL, they need to have an elite trait. Shot, skating, playmaking. And on a very, very, very rare occurrence, you can be just a good physical guy. But those guys are grinders. They're playing on the 4th line. They're on a new team every other year. That's what Brady Martin is. And he fits everything that Cam Neely and Don Sweeney wants. And it fits the exact ideology that has the Bruins picking at number 7 in the NHL draft in the first place. This league is getting faster. It's getting more skilled. And yet the Bruins front office with Cam Neely and Don Sweeney are trying to make their team bigger, slower, and stronger. They are zagging when the rest of the league and the Stanley Cup champions and contenders are zigging. Okay, they're going in the wrong direction. And if they draft Brady Martin with a top 10 pick, that would once again solidify that they are moving in the wrong direction. They want this kid because he's a fucking caveman. Oh, Brady Martin, do big hit. Can't skate, can't shoot, can't deke, but he can hit. It's Don Sweeney and Cam Neely's wet dream to draft this kid at number 7. And if they pick him over James Hagens, that would be a catastrophic mistake. When you look at all the scouting reports, all they can talk about is his physicality. Oh, he's ready to be NHL physical right now. Great. Who cares, man? I don't care that most of the Bruins roster can hit. They can't skate. They can't score. They can't play hockey. So I don't want Brady Martin. I don't. I think that would be a mistake. I think it would just be playing into all the crap that the Bruins have been trying to do the last couple of years that does not work. They're trying to get bigger, stronger, slower when the rest of the league is going the other direction to great success. Okay? Like the Florida Panthers are physical, but they can also outskate you. And they pressure the crap out of you. And they've got guys with a ton of skill. Okay? I don't know if you need to know this, but Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart, Sasha Barkov, Sam Bennett, those guys have a ton of skill. They don't just hit. If the Bruins go after Brady Martin, it would be no better than getting John Beecher or Justin Brazeau. No better than those guys. You would be using a top 10 pick on a bottom 6, potential bottom 3 forward. It wouldn't make any sense. Any sense. This team needs skill. It needs speed. It does not need more of whatever the fuck Brady Martin brings that has been bringing you down to the point where you're picking in the top 10 of the NHL draft for the first time in a decade and a half. Say no to Brady Martin. We don't need him. Last time you picked a guy from the Sioux in the top 10, he ended up in the Hall of Fame, but not because of you guys. It's Joe Thornton, by the way. Don't do it. Please don't do it. James Hagens. I'd take Jake OBrien. I would take Caleb Denwyer, and I don't know, man. Maybe even take the flyer on Roger McQueen over Brady Martin, because at least we know Roger McQueen has some talent. You just need to make sure he's healthy. Brady Martin, we don't know if he has the talent, the high-end talent to play in this league. That should not be a question that we are asking for the number 7 pick in the draft. So who is it? Who do the Bruins pick? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because we're coming at you every weekday live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the other videos on the channel talking about this pick, the Bruins, and so much more going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week.